I tricked you. I'm actually not going to talk about how to price your artwork. However, if you hang around in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to sell your artwork for way more than what you're currently selling for. And this just because of some simple little tips and tricks and tactics that's going to get you to selling at high prices. Here's the thing. After working with so many artists and talking to so many artists, when I meet an artist, they all tell me the same thing. The main reason I'm not selling art is because I just simply don't know how to price my artwork. And the funny thing is, the last thing I teach the artist, it literally take me 1 minute to teach it to them, is how to price their artwork. Because that's how not important your pricing is. Matter of fact, at the end of this video, so I don't forget, because I forget a lot. At the end of this video, I will tell you how to price your artwork. Take a note of that. Okay, I'll talk about that at the end of this video. But who this video for? This is for the visual artists who selling, let's say, artworks for $100 to $300, and you want to start selling your artwork for $3,000 to $5,000, even if you don't believe it's possible. This is for the artists who's selling for $1,000 to $5,000, and you want to start selling for $10,000 to $15,000 per piece. And just before we jump into, like, if you don't know who I am, my name is Gerard Henry. I'll show you, for example, like, this is one of my artists who, when met me, her goal was $1,000. I actually have an interview with her on my channel here, and she was selling artworks for $100 to $300, and this was one of her recent sales. Let's see if it can focus. If it can't focus, you're just gonna be out of luck. There we go. Okay, you could have paused that, but you'll see she sold this artwork for 4,000 pounds, which is about 5,500 USD, and she's selling prints for 750 pounds, which is roughly about 1,000 USD, which is absolutely insane. Probably like 800 USD for a print, which is absolutely insane. And it's not because she have the perfect pricing. It's because their entire setup to be able to charge more. Like, I'm gonna give an example. Would you rather have the perfect pricing selling your artwork at $500, or would you rather charge as much as possible per piece to make as much as possible? I mean, if you chose the first option, just exit off this video. We obviously not on the same page. But if you want to charge the absolute most and make the most, or literally if you charge it less and you want to start raising those prices, here's exactly what you need to do. I'm going to tell you, like, the key focuses to selling more. And the reason why you shouldn't worry about how to price your artwork correctly, because there's no true way to price your artwork correctly. Like, you're going to hear people tell you price it off a square inch, or this is what you should price it based off what galleries would say, right? But in reality, it don't matter. You could price your artwork for 500, 1,000, or 3,000. It don't mean that somebody's going to purchase, right? So I want to talk about, like, how to go about really more importantly raising the value of your artwork so it's worth more. Because you can set a price at any price, but just because you set the price don't mean it's worth that value, right? So we're going to talk about some key tricks, adjustments, things you could do today, things that's going to take time to build out. But overall, if you implement these things, you could simply start selling your artwork for more, because it would be perceived to be worth more, so they have a higher perceived value. I'm all over the place today. By the way, if you hear background noise, I got my, like, washer going on in the washer room, so excuse that. I feel like everybody on YouTube had these fancy videos and I'm here like, by the way, you might hear my washer going. I live a very regular, practical life, so just bear with me. All right, let's get into it. So there's a couple key things to raise the perceived value of your artwork. If you want to save yourself time and you don't want to watch the whole video, I get to the most important thing first. And then if you're painting and watching this video while you paint and just want to learn some information, you can learn all of the steps so you can start implementing everything. So I'm starting with the most important, then I'm going to go into, like, everything. So first, most important, I just wrote down a secret. Okay, yeah, I call it the secret sauce. I literally just made that name up before this video. And my training is actually called stacking. But I'm going to tell you about the secret sauce. So you want to use this secret sauce method. So For the sake of this video, let's say I have this artwork right here behind me, right? Now, I talk about that artwork often. One of my students gifted me that artwork, but that work typically sells for that student for $25,000, right? 25,000. Now, when you see a piece of this stature at that size, 25,000 could be justified. Like, yes, maybe not. Who knows? I'm not the one to say. But I do know we sell a lot of these at 25,000, right? And here's how we use the secret sauce, which is what I really call stacking. Here's how it works. Let's say you created this $25,000 piece, and if you do this, you'll crush it. No matter how much, it could be a $500 piece, $1,000. But and let's say someone wanted to purchase this piece, right? For example purposes, we're talking about this $25,000 piece. If someone walk in this home, let's say this home was a gallery, and someone walk in this home and they seen this piece behind me, and they say, "How much is it? I'm interested." I say it's $25,000. It's a hard decision for them to like fork up $25,000. That's a quarter of $100,000, and say, "Yep, I want it." Now, people that really, 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 really love the piece, they're gonna purchase, but that's 1%, right? We talking about that's like the very rare 1% who just got money to blow, right? Who got all the money and just don't care. Like, if they, for visual appeal, if they like it, they buy it. But that's 1%. If you want to change the number from 1%, which means 1 out of 100 people, to 10%, 20%, here's what I have my students do to sell this $25,000 piece. So I say somebody walk in and they're like, "Oh my God, I freaking love this piece. How much is it?" Well, it goes like this. I would typically say, so a piece of this stature is 25,000, right? However, I noticed that you live in New York, and shipping a piece of this size from here to New York is going to get crazy expensive. So no worries, I'm going to go ahead and cover shipping for you. But more importantly, to show my appreciation, I'm going to throw in 2 large-scale prints so you can have a cohesive body of work throughout the house. And I will have somebody meet you in New York to go ahead and hang that piece for you, just to make sure everything works out perfectly. And then at any time you're interested in learning more about the piece, or have friends or just want to chat, you'll have a direct contact to me. So all of my customers are able to contact me directly at any given time. And then you also get first dibs on any pieces we have in the future. That's crazy, right? It's like, think about, once again, we're talking about perceived value. Think about how much value this customer just got from me just explaining everything that come with this $25,000 piece. You see, the goal of perceived value is to make the price as low as possible compared to what they get in return. So right now they say $25,000 piece, artwork, right? So this price, this value, right? Now, if I could increase value, right? So I'll give an example. I'm gonna cover shipping. I'm gonna have somebody come hang the piece. I'm gonna throw in 2 more prints. I'm gonna also give you my contact in case you have any troubles in the future. Also, you're gonna get first dibs on all my other artwork. Now, what happens is price here and value is here. So now the value, right? The perceived value of the artwork is through the freaking roof. No one else is doing this. No one else is doing this. The reason my artists are able to sell $4,000 artworks, or technically 5,500 USD artworks over Instagram, over Facebook, over TikTok to a complete stranger is because they're raising the perceived value through the freaking roof. So for $5,500, it feels like a steal. It feels like an amazing deal. And here's where it gets crazy. Let's say shipping costs $1,000. 2 large-scale prints. Let's say the artist behind this piece sell those large-scale prints for $2,000, right? So you may think that's 4,000, 5,000 losing. Absolutely not, because it costs $2,000 for a customer, but it may cost that artist $300 to make, right? So the amount that you're spending to get this person to buy your artwork is uncomparable because it's so small. Like, it's so small, right? So you want to start raising the perceived value. The way you raise the perceived value of your work is by throwing in little goodies. And here's the key to a goodie. The key is you want something that costs very little on your end, but could be very valuable to the customer. For example, if I want to gift $1,000 print, the value to the customer is $1,000, but the cost for me to create that print may be $100. So it's a lot of value for the customer, right? We're trying to get the value as high as possible, but cost to me is down here, right? And this is the power of stacking. And literally, once again, if you hear anyone else talking about this, they learned it from me. I created this method literally in 2019. And this is how my artists initially started seeing a lot of sales, because it just changed the way of selling work. It just makes, and here's the cool part, it makes the buyer feel very special. They feel like they got an amazing deal. They build a strong relationship with you, and they're more likely to come back and purchase again and again and again and again and again and again and again, right? This stuff just worked. Like this, I could talk about this stuff all day. Like it just works. So I hope you taking notes. Even if you're painting, I hope you didn't pause this video and took some notes, because we're gonna move on to the next thing. I talk a lot, so make sure I got my notes here. The second thing, what I'm gonna talk about. So that's first. If you just do that, if you just apply that little secret sauce, it's gonna change everything. Period. Like you're gonna have way more people purchasing because the value is just through the roof. The second thing is leverage points. If you could use leverage to close sales, people are going to see the value in your work. I'll give an example. For most of my artists, if they have someone else interested in their artwork, one, we use that as leverage. Two, if they have someone else that already purchased the artwork at that price, we use it as leverage, because this goes back to raising that perceived value, right? I'll give an example. Let's say someone walk into here and say, oh my God, I want to buy this artwork. How much is it? But let's say in the past, Jonah, well, that's the artist behind this artwork. The artist who created this artwork sold 3 of these pieces at $25,000 each in the past, right? Well, what happens is now when that person asks if they could purchase this artwork, how much is it? He now have the leverage point to say, well, for the last 3 sales, it's always been $25,000. What happens is this is a justification behind price, which raises value. So when their mind is going to process, it's worth $25,000 because others have already paid $25,000. Now, let's just be clear. If you haven't sold a piece in the past at a certain price point, do not tell somebody that is you sold it for this price if you haven't. However, here's a trick. If you never personally sold a piece at a certain price point, but you want to have that leverage, and you did show in galleries, this is only for those who showed in galleries, and if galleries have it priced higher, another way of leveraging that is you could say, so typically in a gallery, this piece will be listed for $25,000. Keep forgetting to talk about this one. So typically in a gallery, this piece would be listed. In a gallery, this piece is listed for $25,000. So that justified a price. So like in a gallery, it's $25,000, right? Now, another leverage point, if you really want to get them to purchase, you could do what I call incentivized pricing, right? And the way incentivized pricing work is because you don't have to split the commission with a gallery. You could offer them an incentive on the work, right? And it's a very big difference between you discounting and you incentivizing the work. So you can incentivize the work and you still don't lose no money, right? So I give an example. Typically in a gallery, let's just say in a gallery, this piece $30,000, right? So this artist could say, so in a gallery, this piece is $30,000. However, because I'm able to sell it to you directly, since you ain't going through the gallery, I don't have to split commission. So I'm more than happy to be able to sell this piece to you for $25,000. Now, once again, it's justified. In a gallery, this piece typically goes for $30,000. However, because I'm offering them an incentive, since I have to split commission with the gallery, I'm also raising that perceived value, because now the way the brain works is they're going to think, oh, wow, I'm getting a $30,000 artwork for $25,000. So I'm getting a deal, or what I like to call a steal, right? And like these are the little tweaks no one is teaching in the art space. So like I hope you taking notes so you can apply this, right? My favorite thing is sales. I love, love, love sales, right? And like it's simply because that's what pays the bills, that allow you to provide yourself with a beautiful life. And as long as you are like, as long as you're making these tweaks to your art career, you're gonna start selling way, way, way more artwork, way more artwork. And by the way, that's just one leverage point, right? So we still talking about leverage points. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So we talked about leverage points. Some other leverage points could be like following. If people see that you have a big following, they're going to automatically raise the perceived value of your work. They're going to think it costs much, much more. Other leverage points could be like past collectors, right? And then like if they would know who a past collector is, you could say, oh yeah, this piece was actually purchased by such and such. That's great. Most likely you don't fit in these categories if you don't have a huge following. So that's kind of why I'm like skipping past these, right? Now, let's move on to some key leverage points. One of my favorite is relationship building. And by the way, if you really want to sell a lot of work with pretty much ease, you want to be stacking these leverage points together, or these tactics together. Like you want to do the secret sauce while building a relationship. So I'm gonna give an example. Let's say somebody walk into this artwork. Let's say somebody walk into this gallery right now and they see this piece for $25,000, right? And then they see it and say, oh, I love that piece so much. And I say, oh, I was just about to close down the gallery, but if it's okay with you, I'm gonna go grab some coffee, right? Feel free to join me. And then they come join me and we go get coffee again and we start talking about art and the ocean and how much we love like the beach. And we start building an actual genuine relationship. We laughing, getting to know each other. And then we come back to the studio and I say, oh yeah, I forgot you did ask about this work, right? And then I go on to stack and I go on to explain why the price is the price. So it's $25,000. However, I could throw in this, and this, right? They're more likely to purchase because now it's a personal connection. And people love to do business with people that they know. That's the reality. And people like to do business with people that they know because they usually like those that they know. Galleries do this at scale. Every single person that come into a gallery to purchase an artwork, the gallery hyper focus on building that relationship because they understand the power of relationships. A strong relationship will have the price irrelevant on this piece. Like this person may sell this piece at $25,000 to someone they have a relationship with because we went and got coffee, we hung out, now we feel like we know each other. And then the next piece they interested in, they say they want it and don't even care about the price. Like, hey, I want to buy that. Right? Send me the invoice. And that's because of the relationship. So building relationships is crucial. Now you may say, hey, Gerard, but I can't just take people to go get coffee. True, don't. But what you can do is you can have a genuine conversation on social media to build that relationship. All my artists have genuine conversations with their potential buyers before ever getting to like how much the artwork costs. Because they understand, because I teach it to them and I like embed it in their brain that the conversation is crucial because it allows you to build rapport. And by the way, rapport is spelled RAPPORT. A lot of artists are talking about report, but I'm saying rapport. And rapport just means to build a harmonious relationship with someone, a genuine relationship with someone. And when you build that relationship, price almost become irrelevant. Like you ever realize the easiest sales to make is to like family, friends, associates? Is because the rapport is built. You have a relationship. So price doesn't become as much of a factor, right? And that's the goal here. I'm trying to make it to the point where the price you charge for your artwork is not a factor whatsoever in you selling. And if you could do that, you could sell for however much you want. I mean, I have 19-year-old artists selling artworks for 10 grand, 12,000, 15,000. Not because that artwork is some huge artwork that's worth 12 grand. It's because they're able to understand how to build a perceived value in that work to charge 12 grand. And that's what we're talking about. But speaking of huge artwork, I'm gonna tell you how to actually better your work to charge more. And this one is always very controversial, but it's just the reality, right? So one thing is I tell artists, I say, hey, if you want to charge more, go bigger, make bigger artwork. And then I always have those artists like, but Gerard, not everybody like big artwork, or little artwork or smaller artwork is still valuable. And I'm not here to say it's not. I'm not here to say it's not, right? But I'm pretty sure we can all agree that if this piece was half the size, right? Like if this piece was from here to just here versus going all the way to here, it'll be very hard to justify that same 25,000. Simple. Like if this piece was like that big, it'll be hard to justify 25,000. You see, people relate artwork as far as the value to scale because they don't understand how to justify a certain price of artwork. So usually, the bigger the work, the more it's worth, right? The bigger the artwork, the more it's worth to the buyer. Now, I know we all want to go do the research. Yes, there is smaller works that sell for millions and like Sotheby's and Christie's, but we're not talking about like auction house work. We're not talking about investment pieces. We're talking about to the average homeowner who have disposable income and would love to purchase your artwork to fill their home. They typically will be more willing to spend more money on the artwork that's larger. That's it. So ideally, what I try to have my artists do is at the absolute least, do not create artwork smaller than 24 by 36 inches. By the way, that's inches. Best case, I'd rather say ideal case. Ideal case would be to work on artwork sizes 24 to 30. I'm sorry, 36 to 48. If you're in the 36 to 48, you're really in that like that sweet spot. You charging 36, you're creating artwork on sizes 36 to 48, you can charge any price you want. A 36 to by 48 canvas could be sold for anywhere from $1,000 on a low end to as high as freaking 15 grand if you want. Even higher if you want, right? If you do everything I just laid out, you could charge 15 grand. If you do all these little different things to rate the perceived value, you could charge 15 grand. But it's just simply understood that if an artwork is larger, it's typically valued more. The great spot, I'm talking about the really professional spot for this charge for your work would be 48 by 60. 48 by 60, we getting large, right? We getting big. If you could create artworks in a 48 by 60 size, and once again, I'm talking about inches, here's how it works as far as, once again, we're talking about perceived value. If you create multiple pieces that's 48 by 60 inches, those pieces will instantly raise the value of your smaller artwork. So let me explain. Let's say as an artist, I create 4 pieces that's 48 by 60. So we're talking about big pieces, right? 48 by 60. I think that's like, what is that? 4 feet by 5 feet, something like that. So you're talking about really big work. What happens is, if a buyer sees those larger works, they're going to automatically assume the artwork is expensive because the perceived value is high due to the size I'm working on. And because of that, if I was to then create a piece that's, let's say, 36 by 48, they're going to make a comparison in price compared to the larger work. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I have a 48 by 60 that I never sell, but it's priced at $15,000, right? On the flip side, if I create a 36 by 48 piece that's smaller, what do you think the buyer's going to assume the price of that is? They're most likely going to assume the price is anywhere from maybe 5 grand to like 8 grand. Versus if I just only had a 36 by 48 piece, right? If I just had a 36 by 48 piece, the price is questionable. And I think for me to really, really, really like drive this home, I'm going to draw a little sketch. This video is going all over the place. But once again, my job here is to give you as much freaking value as possible. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. So let's say, so it's like this. So let's say you have a 36 by 48 piece here, right? Let it focus. Question mark. I know it's probably backwards, but question mark because it's hard to justify how much this piece is. Like, what's the price of this? We don't know. But on the flip side, right? On the flip side, let's say it was this. And just bear with me here. And if you're painting, you probably want to like come actually look at the screen for this. 60. Okay. And then when I show you this, you're going to be like, oh, wow, makes so much more sense. I'm sorry if that was loud. No, I'm talking like directly into the mic. All right, so check this out. On the flip side, so I showed you this, right? And then when you see this, it's hard to justify the price. But if I show you this on the other hand, I can't see, so I'm trying to make this work. All right, if I show you this on the other hand, let's say there's this huge piece right here. And the price of this piece is $15,000. I don't know if you can see that. $15,000. And by the same artist, and you see this piece, you most likely going to assume this piece is probably around 7,000 or 8,000, right? Because you're making a comparison to the large piece. So let's bring this back to perceived value. The reason this is important for perceived value is because even if you create those larger works and you can't sell them, it makes it 10 times easier to sell the smaller works at higher prices. Also, we're going off topic, but also larger works just get more attention. So to even bring in more attention to those smaller works, if you're showcasing those larger works on social media, it also make you look more professional, which is the next step to raising perceived value, which is professionalism. So to create perceived value, you want to have a very, very professional approach. What I mean by this, you want to create the illusion, right? And if you create the illusion, it actually be the reality. You want to create the illusion of you being a successful visual artist. Like if you showcase yourself as a successful visual artist, people are going to automatically assume on social media artwork is worth way, way, way more. I'll give you an example. Someone that showcase a artwork inside their bedroom while they're painting versus someone who shows the artwork in the empty space that's a pretty decent sized space, gonna always have higher perceived value, right? Compared to the person that's in the bedroom. Because this is how people judge the value of things. You want to raise that perceived value. Someone who shows their artwork with white walls in the background, right? They're going to automatically assume that artist is more professional. So they're going to assume the work that costs more versus someone, once again, who show their artwork in their bedroom. They got pictures of their like dog and cat on the wall in the background, right? So professionalism is a big, big part. To get very great professional like views, what you want to do is you want to have an open space. This could be in your home, but I will reorganize a certain room in your home. This could be the living room space, just to where it's more open and to give the idea of like a studio. You just want a studio feel. You could create the studio feel in your home, right? Along with that, if you got the studio feel and you have natural lighting coming in, that's great. This all goes towards professionalism, and the quality of your videos need to be superb. To create superb quality videos, just use the most up-to-date phone, at least within the last 3 years. I personally lean on the side of iPhone, right? That's it. Great lighting, up-to-date phone. You don't have to go buy your $3,000 camera. Up-to-date phone, and have a really nice like environment, and you're gonna do great. You're gonna do freaking great because it's gonna raise the perceived value of your work, making sure I'm not missing anything. And the last one, this is a little bit hard because it's only gonna apply to some artists. But if you want to like, if you find this category to work, so the last one is like association. Anytime you can associate with something else that have high level of like professionalism, right? Credibility, it's automatically gonna raise your value, right? So for example, I'm gonna use once again the example of somebody walking into this house. Let's say this was a gallery and they wanted to buy this art for 25,000. If somebody walk in and say, "Oh my God, I love that piece. How much is it?" Or you're not supposed to say, "Oh, I literally just got this piece back from the gallery. This one is 25,000." It automatically raised the perceived value because I just associated with a gallery. And honestly, gallery is not even that important in today's time, but to the eye of the person that's going to be purchasing, it justify your, I guess you could say, like, professionalism, right? So just hearing that you just got the work back from a gallery, they're more likely to purchase. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this around like full circle so you can hear the sound like. Let's say I create large work, right? And when we create a large work, someone walk in my house and ask me about this piece, and I say, "Oh my God, I just got this piece back from the gallery." And a gallery is typically 30,000. But since I don't have to cut commission with the gallery, since it's now in my possession, I'm more than happy to sell it to you for 25,000. But I noticed you live in New York. I'm also throwing a couple goodies. So what I'm thinking is I want you to have a cohesive body of work in your house. So I'll let you choose 2 large scale prints for other runs. And by the way, don't even worry about shipping. I'm gonna go ahead and cover that as well. And I have a couple friends in New York that'll be able to stop by and hang the work for you because I just want to make it as easy as humanly possible. And a little bonus is any person that do purchase my work automatically get first dibs on any work I create in the future, right? And then I say that I had another piece right above it. And they say, "But what about that piece above?" And I say, "Oh, well, that one is actually 50,000, right?" Now, justifying this for 25,000 seems like a no-brainer, right? The piece above is 50,000. This one is technically 30, but I'm sending it to you for 25, so I don't have to split everything with the gallery. Plus, I'm making a real easy purchase for you. Plus, you just came into my studio space that's very professional, so it makes me look like a professional. And this is how you raise the value of the work. The reality is, I don't care how much you're charging for your pricing. It don't matter to me. What matters to me is what somebody is willing to spend. What are they willing to pay on your artwork? And here's the best part. A person is willing to pay as much as possible as long as they could justify the price. And the price is justifiable when the value, the perceived value exceed the price. As long as price feel like it's here and perceived value is here, someone will always purchase your work. It don't matter how much you charge. So yeah, that's it. If you want to learn more about like me going really deep into these topics and even have the opportunity to like work with me directly at like a very affordable price, we actually just open up a new community. I'll put the link below. But I'm really enjoying these videos. It feels good to be back. That means I'm going to see you in the next video.